Good day, Virgo. I hope everybody's doing great. Thank you so much for being patient as I got everything organized today. Some really great messages coming through, a lot of stuff coming through in dreams as well, which I'll share with you in just a second. The big thing I was picking up on as I was tuning into your energy is sort of this awakening to purpose, sort of finding a way to get more energy, sort of just really this sort of push, an energetic push that's coming through for you. And we're going to ask some of the big questions that many of you would sometimes bring up in a one-on-one meeting, which is sort of like, what's my life purpose? And I spent some time this morning helping you with the life purpose to hopefully train and track your sort of overall trajectory so that it's aligned with the soul. So we're going to be doing some deeper soul work today to really get you on track. Let me introduce myself, talk a little bit about who I am and what we're going to do today. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little furry guy here is Apollo. What we're going to be looking at today is a forecast that will help you out for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So for many of you, you're watching this live in August, but it will also go through September, which is why I titled it that way. And we're here to really help you focus on on finding things that make you happy, like this little guy here. And that's really what this is a soul alignment. We're going to start off with channeled messages at the beginning. We'll look at Celtic Cross after that to help you look at blessings and potential blocks. And then I go a little deeper in and looking at areas like health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And then we'll do a mini review and we'll go into the soul path, which this particular month is really going to be about life purpose. And then we're going to meditate and I'll answer a final question that you have. Lots of love today from Apollo to all of you and especially to me. So hopefully you guys are ready to receive and let's get started. I hate to put him down because he seems really happy here, but I'm going to put Apollo down so we can get started. So we'll bring him back a little bit later, but he's especially playful and happy today. Thanks, Apollo. We love you too. All right. So let's get started. I always like to begin with a spirit totem, and the spirit totem is a way for us to connect to something in the sort of universe that will bring through some messages. So just like I use tarot cards as a modality to help bring through messages, usually spirit will show me a symbol in dreams, in real life, and I can kind of use that as an extra way to get some information. So what I've been seeing time and again lately are white moths in dreams and actually out in the world around me. Sorry, I just dropped a card here. So I want to show you, I mean, they're actually quite beautiful, right? Sometimes you think of a moth and butterflies get all of the sort of attention, but moths are quite delicate and quite beautiful as well. And, and kind of cute too when you look at them up close, right? So I've been seeing white moths in particular. And as I was doing research, I was drawn to a particular variety here that was called, I think it was a silk or satin moth. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Let me just put this down and let's go into your totem here. So again, just a single one today. We're going to be focusing on the moth and moth in general, and also this particular one that I was looking at with the research. Many species of moths, like the satin moth, will lay eggs, and in this particular time period, right now when we're watching it, this is when it's really fertile. They're going out and they're putting those eggs on trees, on leaves, and wherever they kind of put it, and then I think some of them put a little foam around it or they kind of protect those eggs. So right now, all of us are in a period where there's this really fertile, opportunistic energy where we can create something and then it sets in motion the next 3 to 6 months. So what's interesting about the satin moth when I was researching it is it's one of the few species that hibernates. So a lot of times with butterflies or moths, there's a period of time, it might be a few weeks or up to a month, where basically the egg turns into a pupa, and then the pupa will then become, a moth or something afterwards, after it goes into a cocoon or a chrysalis. But this particular species will go into that pupa or cocoon stage and then stays there for many months in the winter, which isn't usual. I've done enough totems with moths and butterflies to kind of notice that that's not a normal habit. So what that's telling me for you is that this period of time, right now, August and September, you're like smack dab in the middle of this productive energy right now. So you have another, 6 or 8 weeks of that. Make the most of it. Really utilize it, because there may then be a period of slow and steady building and internal growth, but not as much that's going to be sort of discernible and noticeable. So rapid, noticeable kind of like 3 of Wands in your face energy where you can see it coming toward you. And then after that, it's going to be more planning, more subtle, more beneath the surface. So take advantage of this right now. Abundance, fertility. You're probably going to be working a lot. It's like 4 of Swords in reverse, needing some rest. But with this symbol coming through, the rest is coming. That sort of sleep or hibernation energy is on the horizon for you. So don't sort of like worry too much about how am I going to keep up with this? Is this going to go on forever? No, it's not. This is a period to really maximize the energy, even though sometimes we want a nap, right? You want a good nap. All right, let's go into the next piece here. As I said here, maximize this period. You are going to get the rest on the horizon. And what I wanted to do for you today is to help you, for those of you that are feeling like there's a lot of things coming through. If you're a parent, you're probably dealing with like back to school. There might be even back to the office sort of energy. How am I going to balance all of this stuff? Dealing with your pets, figuring out how all of these things are coming together. Even if you're single, you're worried about sort of like bills and moving and things like that. There's a lot of things that are coming through at once. I have a feeling that it's going to be a busy summer and fall for most of us in the Northern Hemispheres, and busy next 2 to 3 months. So in this period where we're trying to figure out what matters and what doesn't, or even if you're looking for a job and trying to figure out like, what do I want to do next? This is for you. This is the alignment period here. And Spirit sent me a bunch of questions to kind of help you get that alignment. All right. So I was reminded of some teachings that I learned in yoga and just sort of like when looking at different world religions and everything. Our lives are not measured in wealth, status, popularity, or material goals. These things don't matter because we can't take them with us. These are things that are just a little kind of like add-on in life. It's fun to have. It's nice to have. It's an experience that you call in. Sometimes it can not be so fun to have some of these things because it brings extra attention to you. But we should not be measuring or giving so much focus to money, wealth, status, popularity. Those are things that teach and guide us toward the next goal, but you don't take it with you. Everyone, when they go into the ethers, has a pretty similar sort of energy, and all of this stuff kind of fades away. What we are and what we take with us, basically our lives or our souls are the sum of our experiences, the love that is given and received, the lessons that we learn, and also the impact that we make on the world around us. That's the stuff that matters. That's the stuff that gets imprinted on the soul. So, how popular what your last name is, how popular you are, what comes after your name, whether it's a title or something like that, it does not matter on a soul level. What matters is, did I learn the lessons I was supposed to? Did I leave the world a better place than it was when I stepped on the planet? Did I leave the lives around me in a better place than I found them? All of those things help you kind of decide, like, am I on the right path? Those are the things also when you are sort of like looking at your life and judging yourself, that's what matters. So when weighing the big opportunities in front of you, new love, new relationship, potential apartment, house, or condo, whatever you're looking at, I want you to think of some of these things. First and foremost, does this, whatever this may be, make me happy? If I think about it when I'm trying to go to bed at night, does it bring me joy or stress? That's going to be really important. So if you're looking at a job and it doesn't make you happy, or if you're thinking of getting into a relationship with someone and it's not in a good space, you need to fix that piece first. The unhappiness is a big blinking red light saying, slow down, stop, figure out what you want. Does this allow me to grow? Does it allow me to develop? Does it allow me to continue to expand? Because you are in a period of expansion here. So if you are in a relationship where the partner won't let you try new things, you're not growing. If you're in a job where you've hit a glass ceiling, or they won't see your potential, or won't allow you to try new things because they just want you to do something that fits their mold, then it's not the right thing. Does this inspire? And I just left it kind of, I ran out of room, but does it inspire me? Do I feel inspired to do it? Does this inspire other people? Or is this just something like 5 of Wands where I'm just working and working, but not really feeling anything? At the end of your days, will you feel that the sacrifices that you made are worth the experience, the overall experience? And I should also say the end goal. So this is so important. I want you just to imagine that for some reason, today was your last day on the planet, and something that you were doing, I want you to look at it and think, no matter where you're at on this progress, do you regret the time spent? Would you have spent the time doing something else? Or are you happy that you gave it a shot wherever you are now, you know that that was your path. So if you were limited in your lifespan, like today, or if you were told that you had 1 year to wrap everything up, would you keep doing what you're doing, or would you do something else? That's a big and important sort of, I think, deciding factor. And if it is something else, why aren't you doing it? What will you do next to kind of build the bridge between here and there? That bridge could take weeks, months, or years to kind of cross, but you got to start building it eventually, or you're never going to get to the other side. And so this is that sort of push to start the construction of that bridge. Does whatever you're doing or pursuing align with your soul passion? And if you don't know what your soul passion is, no problem. You have plenty of time to figure it out. Everything that we've just been asking will help you figure that out. It should bring you joy. It should inspire you. It should make an impact. And it doesn't have to be something like Mother Teresa or something lofty. It could just be like you want to start a family, or you want to finish school because you want to prove to yourself that you can do something. It can be small. You can start something small and then go bigger, and then it can kind of go out into the bigger world. But making a difference with yourself or with another person, that's enough, because that kind of constitutes, it checks lists off. Did you leave the planet better? Yes. Did you affect someone around you? Yes. So kind of go into that, the minimum sort of requirements to sort of get on that better trajectory. This is the most important piece. I put working, but I'm just going to say it as with. Do I like who I am surrounded by? Do I like who I'm with? Whether it's someone that I'm working with, living with, loving, teaching. Do you like the people around you and or the way that they treat you? I would say quite possibly that's the easiest, most powerful, and most important to kind of help you decide. So if you are continuing to work with people that don't respect you, why are you doing that? If you are continuing to exist in a relationship where the partner's not there the way they need to be, why? So just to repeat these, because there were a few, and don't worry, I'll go into the midpoint. We'll look at them as well. Am I happy? Does this allow me to grow? Does it inspire me or others? Is it worth the time spent? Is it worth the sacrifice? Does it align with my soul's passion? And do I like who I'm around? Do I like who I'm surrounded by? Those things will help you figure out if you're on the right path. And they'll also help you align or figure out what might be the next path. Because if you're not, then think, what makes me happy? What allows me to grow? What inspires me? Just change the questions around and put them as prompts, like things that will prompt you to think of new things. And so for this particular reading, don't worry, I will post these in the comments below, or the description below the video, usually about 1 day later. It takes me time. And I will also put them on Twitter and on the community tab and on Instagram and on Facebook. So you get a chance to look at all this stuff in case you're feverishly trying to write it down. But that stuff's important. Think about it. You don't have to have the answer today, but I'd love for you to kind of work on it over the next 2 months so you can start to set at least 1 or 2 things into motion. Okay. Basically, why is spirit pushing you a little bit? Because an awakening is at hand. I feel like you're at the crossroads here, and I used a couple of analogies here in tarot, which would help you. First and foremost, it could be between the hermit and the star, because to me, that nicely represents what a cocoon or a chrysalis is like. You go into it one way and you come out another way. It could also be the difference between judgment and the world. You have to really own and decide and believe in something to get that expansion that comes afterwards. So that's why judgment comes right before that. It's really pushing us to ask ourselves the question, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in what you're doing? And if you do, then some big expansion is on the horizon. And if you don't, then you get a chance to reinvent and rise from the ashes, because judgment is just that. You see souls rising from the dead, and you see a new beginning. So after one end comes something even better. And it's really cool that the judgment card is almost at the end, but it's not the end. It's the world. It's the expansion. It's something bigger. So something bigger awaits you if you're willing to kind of step into it. So you have to decide. This is the big question. Do you want to continue with the present path, or do you want to break the mold? Just like, a caterpillar breaking out and becoming the butterfly, or a moth breaking through that cocoon and becoming that beautiful, resplendent creature that I was showing you just a moment ago. Movement and change are the only constants in this lifetime. Basically, to move is to live. So if you're moving and if you're changing, you're doing something right. If you're standing still, this is the course correction moment where you think like, why am I not moving? Why am I sort of like stuck? So we're going to get you out of stagnation, like death reverse. We got to move through that so you can actually transform. Awakening the inner sleeper because of the hibernation piece that came through with the moth, creating a soul legacy as well. What are you proud of? What did you do in this lifetime that brings you that sense of fulfillment? These are the big, deeper questions. Cocoons also represent a need to protect and go within. It's the hermit energy. Working on self, working on healing, discovering things, educating oneself. All of these things come through when I think of a cocoon, which again, moths use. It's also protection. And I think for many of you, this could be protecting an idea, a product or a service before you kind of share it. Don't put anything out that's half-baked. I think that there's a small team that you can kind of share your ideas and hopes and fears and dreams with. Usually it's your partner in life or your partner in business. But sometimes we don't want to put something that isn't ready out there because unless somebody is sort of used to seeing things in the middle of production, they can judge it by that prototype, right? So be careful and make sure that when you launch something, it's really finished and people know what's going on. All right, let's move away from the wonderful moth metaphor and totem, which taught us a lot and kind of was surprisingly very inquisitive when I was meditating on it. All these questions flooded through me. It was less about all the facts about the moth. It really was sort of like movement, change, hibernation. Where are you at on this? And I think that's going to help. Thank you so much for that kind contribution. I appreciate that. That helps me quite a bit. All right, let's move on to the next piece. So I was shown a door that kept opening and closing. And I had a relative that's no longer alive, one of my grandparents, that always was crazy about keeping the door open or shut, like make your mind up. So he showed up to kind of remind me, and there was only love exchange here. He wasn't giving me a hard time. I said, thanks for that. And he kind of nodded. It wasn't actually, he was just coming through as the metaphor here. So a decision has to be made. So the door was opening, shutting, opening. It's kind of like when there's a storm outside and the shutters do that. The door was doing the same thing. And I was trying to unjam it. And he said, be careful, like just not like be careful with the door, but be careful in the decision. Basically, what this particular guide was telling me is not to force things to be. Allow things to sort of transition and make a decision for sure, but don't force yourself or others to kind of go through a door that doesn't feel right. And if something's kind of slamming open and shut, it's basically, I almost felt like it was like we're in the universe of Harry Potter or something where things animate. And the door was saying like, why won't you make your mind up? So make up your mind so that door can shut or close and something else can open if it needs to. Or you can walk through that because it felt like the portal was getting impatient. But you shouldn't get impatient. You just have to sort of decide yes or no. It's kind of an easy decision at the end of the day. And then once you sort of intuit that will get calm and something else will open up if you don't want to go through that. I also felt that many of you need to change, and this particularly felt like it was with work or study, but you need to change your environment to be more productive. Now, for those of you that might be retired, you could just be feeling this sense of like maybe you're sleepy, you're tired or frustrated in your environment, so change it up as well. Move things around a little bit, put a fresh coat of paint if you own the place. Do something to kind of make it feel more at home because a change will help you focus. Because I was also noticing, I think for those of you that work from home and might also have roommates or family members there with you, there was distraction. It wasn't sort of like on purpose. Noise in the kitchen, children in the background, television. It was very hard to get the work done. So set aside a space or make an agreement that there are certain times where that noise is kept down. And I think that'll help you out as well. The final piece is really important, and it's something I've been talking about, I feel like a lot over the past few months, but it bears repetition because Spirit came through again. So because you have change, because you're planting seeds, because you're making decisions right now, I want you to move into these sort of energies of change with confidence. So get to the place where you believe in it first. That's why judgment energy was coming through. Rely on yourself, trust your own skills, trust that you will do it, not just that you can do it, but that you will do it. And then enter into the negotiation process or into a process where you're talking about what you want, or a declaration. I could have put that on there as well. Because when you believe it, when you see it, when you know it, when you feel it, other people have this sense of confidence around you because you've done the work. You've cocooned, you've hermited, you've gone inside and you thought, this is what I need and this is how I'm going to come out of this energy. Otherwise, they can't see through the cocoon, and they're trying to figure out, do you believe it? I don't know if I believe you, because I don't know if you believe you. So I think that's the most important and powerful thing that you can step forward with, is knowing. And from the knowing comes confidence. It doesn't have to be like a false sense of confidence or a confidence to the point that it's annoying. It's just like, no, I really sorted this out. I understand. I believe in this. This is what isn't it sort of like this sense of relief that you feel when you talk to someone that really knows what they're talking about? You can just relax and just receive. So get to that point so other people can do that around you. All right. So we have some really sort of deeper messages that came through. It's not just sort of like topical stuff. I feel like there's some really important work that's going to happen today. So I'm glad you showed up. We're going to go here now into the cards and look at some of these messages in more detail. Just a quick note. Sometimes I forget to say this at the beginning. Everything that I do here in this reading can be used, like I said, for 6 to 8 weeks, but you can also use it for any aspect of your chart. So sun, rising, moon, Venus, if you happen to know Mars or whatever, all the different aspects, that's fine. I suggest that you watch at least sun, rising, and moon if you know it, because that gives you a good sort of like full view of your life. So feel free to look at the different ones here. All of the videos for August are already up. I'm about halfway through the September ones, and the schedule is posted on my website, and you can see the link, which I pinned up above if you need more information. The center portion, which I'm going to look at all the cards here in just a second, it's really going to be whatever needs to come through. I don't focus just on love. I focus on the messages that your soul needs to hear. And then I look at that expanded forecast, like I said. All right, that gave me time to stack everything up. So let me put the cards down on the table. I'm going to grab myself some water, which is in the fridge, and then we'll get started. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. I know that this morning I definitely felt the energy of a little bit of lethargic energy. So the fact that there was the cocoon and the moth that came through made a lot of sense. I felt more inspired as I went through it, though, because of all the sort of questions and clarity that the moth kind of gave us. All right, everyone, I'm going to remain quiet here and just focus on what's coming through for Virgo. All right. Oh, one last question as I do this, or one last note. I don't answer questions as I'm reading, so sometimes people will say, read love, do this. I'm actually in the middle of a reading, and it's general, so you should get everything you need. If you want to show love or support, you can do that through the super chat, and I see someone just did that, so thank you so much for that. And then later on replay, you can do it through super thanks, which is right by the share. All right, this allows me to continue to buy new decks and to do new videos. I'll be doing a collective on Sunday. And I think I'm going to start to do just Sunday collectives in general, which means I'll probably add another video per month, 1 or 2 per month. So in order to do that, your support is what makes it possible. All right. First card is Judgment. So nice kind of synchronicity. Self-confidence that we were talking about with the 5 of Pentacles also coming through. The World here. So we got Judgment in the World, like I was talking about, self-confidence as well. Some great energy around love as well. Okay, we've got 2. We're going to leave them right by each other. Okay. You've got a lot of emotional energy coming through. Lots of cups, lots of cups. It's so funny that the crow came through. I was actually taking a walk with my dog this morning, and nonstop I was hearing this crow continuing to sort of like just talk to me for about a minute. And I thought, come on, what's going on here? So the crow came through. And I actually want to message this, talk about this message here. It's about co-creating with spirit. So I love crows, and I love what's the other one? It's ravens, because they are strongly connected with the other side. Sometimes we only give like doves credit, but crows are really connected with underworld and higher realms as well, and they bring through messages. So it's telling you like, hey, let's work together. I think that's a really cool message. All right, let's start with your catalyst here. A catalyst, as the name implies, is a way to create some action in your life, also to stay in the best possible energy. It's kind of alchemic, or kind of like chemistry. So let's see what we can do here. I've read with this deck for a while, but I've never seen this card, so it's cool. It says ally in disguise, discover the hard to find blessing. What an interesting sort of way of putting that, which is, I do believe we always have blessings. So back when I used to do weekly readings, which is a few years back, I just don't have the time anymore to do that. But I would have blessings and blocks as something that I look at. And I still kind of look at that in the soul space. And so there may actually be some sort of a hidden blessing when you go through a weird situation in life. Sometimes the best possible ally or support can come through. I like to call it like a fast friend that you will make, because you're in a situation where it's like, I need to, you sort it out. It's almost like your third eye opens up and you're like, that's the person. I'm going to work with that person. We're going to figure this out together. So I want you to open your mind. There could be someone who's very quiet. There could be someone who actually asks questions that annoy you, but they may be there to help you figure things out. There is an ally in disguise. So if you feel like you're kind of cornered, or you don't have anyone in your corner to help you, this is saying actually you do. And it could be one of those people that kind of gets under your skin or doesn't show up a lot. They're kind of in the background. Look around, really pay attention. There's someone there that wants to help you. Maybe they just don't know how to say it, or the way that they say it, it just comes out wrong or direct. So it could be a very quiet person like the Hermit, or it could be someone very direct like Queen of Swords reverse, where it's just sort of, this is what I think, take it or leave it. So reevaluate some of the people around you. I do feel like it'll fall in one of those courts. You should already look at them and think they have good insights, or I wish I understood more about that person. This is a time to look at that. So you have a hidden helper, a hidden ally, which I like. All right. I mentioned changing your environment too. So maybe if you decide to work with a different group or in a different place, or if you decide to live in a different place, you're going to meet this potential helper. Okay, so really, really cool. Next piece, we have judgment reversed. This is what I was talking about earlier with judgment. I'm so happy that we got both judgment and the world, because that was on one of the cards. And I think you're between those two. This is the center. So judgment in general is, it can hit in a few different areas. So let's just talk about it. The first thing is moving into something new. Are you ready to step into the change? Because change can be scary. And this one happens when the change is inevitable. Because in a typical card, not so much this one, but you would see souls rising from the dead. And so something has already come to pass, and it's just a question, have you made peace with it, and are you ready to try something different? The other piece is feeling judged, or the question in your head, am I worth it? Do I deserve it? Am I ready for it? There needs to be an affirmation in here and in here in order to unlock the door. That's why I think the door was slamming open and shut, because you mentally may be going through a bunch of things like, I want it, and maybe I don't. I think I deserve it, but what do they think about me? So let that stuff go and just say, yes, it's time. Let's do this, right? Let's move through it. If you've had setbacks in your life, judgment is coming through to assuage your concerns, to clear out that energy and say, well, okay, that was then, this is now. Let's try it differently, because you now have that knowledge. And this one kind of looks more like a library a little bit. And we see this sort of young soul here coming through, I believe. Looks like, I got to put my glasses on for that, but it looks like it's a young energy. Yeah. So we have you kind of looking at your life and figuring things out. And then we have this sort of baby in the background. So there's always a chance to be reborn or to step into something new. 10 of Wands on top of this. This also kind of aligns with the energy of that hibernation, because we see someone going from sort of like one season into the other, or one dimension into the other. And with the 10 of Wands, there is also this question of, are you ready to let it go? The cool thing with the 10 of Wands is there's an understanding that you finished it. You've kind of gone through that phase. You just have to go through the last step of the mile of the run or whatever. This is really cool if you look at it. So everything here is without leaves. And then we see the wand, as he's carrying it, actually grows as he's stepping into that new dimension, into the unknown. So sometimes it's really easy to stay in things that we trust, that we believe in, that are predictable, but going in and pushing through the dimension into something else, kind of, this is coming out of the cocoon, right? Into the unknown. That's really where the growth and the true sort of energy of creation is going to happen. So it just feels like you're ready to push through some sort of a cocoon. And all that's necessary for many of you is believing that I can do it. Believing that if I let this go, because this could be like a relationship or a job, will there be something more? Yes. If we look really close, there's that little kid in the green in the background. And this is the other person kind of pushing through and leaving it. So one ending, one beginning. Okay. So let's look at your deep past, what's affecting you right now, what's sort of your foundational energy. And we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is great. Listen, Virgo, you've been doing some great work on yourself. Let's pull this card up right. And with you've got two 10s right there at the center. So 10 of Wands showing that you've been through what's necessary. You have what it takes to go to the next level. Some of you may be actually moving, in the process of moving or traveling, or you're between two places. This 10 of Wands is very much transient, or sort of like more like Fool energy, right? So this is sort of on the precipice of the Fool, and that would happen after the World energy at the top. So you're between something, but you're not committed in either place. It's sort of like, yeah, you're one step in, one step out. The 10 of Pentacles has to do with the pressure that we sometimes feel from friends, family, and society. With this one, it feels like you're ready to let it go. The burden doesn't have to be there anymore. So with both of these 10s, there's an idea that's ready to take to the next level, and it feels like you're ready to push through and there's more abundance coming through. I love a 10 of Pentacles in a spread for someone. That tells me also that you have a really good network. Are you willing and ready to lean and ask for help within that network? Because the 10 of Pentacles reversed shows me that you've done a lot of work supporting, uplifting, answering, healing other people. But sometimes that leaves you like a battery drained, right? So this is your chance to recharge, not necessarily take energy from them, but reclaim some of that, or kind of like, yeah, it's a return on the investment energetically. And this can be a litmus test with those people. Say, hey, would you mind? I could use some advice, or could you help me out today? You know, remembering in your head, accounting in your head that the fact that you probably helped them out a dozen times. If they say no, and they say no more than once, then that's a chance for you to decide, hey, that's not a wise investment. You're not doing it expressly for a return, but if you're not getting any return, remember my question earlier, is it worth that exchange at the end of things? This is especially true for a job. Yeah, we get a paycheck, but if we're constantly being used, abused, or not appreciated, at a certain point, the paycheck is not worth that sort of energy. I think everybody's been through it at some point, at every level. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you think the higher you go, the easier it gets. It doesn't. There's always sort of exchanges. You just have to really feel that fluid connection to what's going on around you. Because if you feel like it's like you're getting something out of it, it's not going to be taxing. This is the one thing that changed for me when I started to do my own business. I work every day. But I don't feel like I'm a workaholic because I can control things. I can take a walk. I can go to the doctors. I can meet a friend. I can grab something to eat. I can change my schedule up as I want, but I do have to work every day. That was my trade-off, but I like what I'm doing. So it doesn't feel like it's as taxing, and I can decide on the schedule. So maybe there's something that you can do where you feel really connected because you're helping people or you're getting something back in appreciation. The work then feels like it's feeding you and fulfilling you, and you're growing. But when you're just working for people that are cruel, that are demanding, or that are not disrespectful, then that kind of, it makes you think, why? Some of you may be deciding that you want to reinvest. Whenever I see like a 10 of Pentacles or any of the court cards in Pentacles reversed, there's a decision to do something for you. So I'm giving you encouragement, permission, and the space that you need to do that if you're ready to step into that. I'm seeing a halving of resources. So some of you may be deciding to step away from someone or something. So you could decide to be bought out of a business. You could decide to be leaving a relationship. So when we go from a very abundant 10 of Pentacles to a 5 of Pentacles, That can just be deciding I'm gonna cash in, cash out, separate, divide. So I see division happening for some of you. Not necessarily bad. Everything in the spread looks good. It's just a question like, what does this mean? Am I ready for that separation, that division, that stepping away? This also has to do with healing the past. And it goes both ways here. Five of Pentacles is parents and children and parents. So there may be a chance to heal or forgive someone from the past, and they don't have to be living. You can work with a grandparent, a parent, or a sibling that's no longer here. They're in spirit. You can work a little bit on releasing the energy between you and between them. There may also be a need for you to work through insecurities that were imprinted on you by teachers, peers, guardians, and people that should have been supporting you, but that didn't. And then also in relationships and present situations, this is a card of feeling like you're deserted or abandoned or not appreciated. So really working on, as I said at the very end, relying on yourself, trusting your self-worth, knowing that you can do that, moving into negotiations with self-confidence. So you really have to believe in yourself, especially if, or even if others around you haven't or won't, or just don't show up the way you need to, because you have everything that you need. You have everything that you need to push through. All right, and the good news, Virgo, is big changes on the horizon for you. We have the World card reversed, but it's still really positive. This is like Four of Wands. I can't really read the World negatively. What I would say with the World reversed is it feels like things are a little topsy-turvy sometimes. So this can be like the most positive version of the Tower when the rug is pulled out from underneath you and you're like, oh, everything changed, but it changed for the better. But am I ready for that change? So it's the light version of the Tower. So when World is reversed, it means the change is happening. Get on board because it's the only train leaving. So you really have to just sort of step into that change. If you are a business person, the World is telling you to look in like a different market, because when it's reversed, it's saying there's some expansion available to you. Are you using all the different media channels available to you? Are you considering all the different segments of the world that could be kind of interested in what you want? Think bigger, think much bigger, and think differently, work differently, produce differently. It is a broadcasting, expansion, and dissemination card. It's also travel. I'm getting a big feeling that, again, some of you might be bi-coastal or in two different, so you might be on two ends of the same country, or you might be in two different places. So like one country and another. There's something going on or you're just between two homes. There's something not grounded about the energy of placement. You may like that, or it may drive you crazy. So when I was talking about picking an environment or changing up your environment, some of you need to ground yourself, because everything that I'm seeing is moving. I said moving is good, but there should be a home base. So find a home base so that there is a place to come back and sleep and eat and do things from. And I think that's the important thing, is where are you? What's your purpose? Where's your home base? And that'll help you out a little bit. Some of you are wondering if this is it, because when we look at Judgment and the World, I want you to understand that it's not the end, it's a new beginning. That's going to be so important to you because you've done the work. If we just look straight up, past, and this is sort of like the present, and this is your headspace and what's going on around you. This is abundance, 10 of Pentacles. This is new beginning, and this is expansion. And it's in the right order too, Judgment and then the World. So believe in it and step in it. There's a new opportunity ready for you. This is also graduation. You've earned this opportunity. So I like everything that I'm seeing. The only thing holding you back thus far is this feeling, and it's hard to see in this Five of Pentacles, but if you look really closely, you can see a bunch of people that are on the street. Nobody's helping them. There's usually a church or a mosque or a sanctuary behind them. And there's this feeling of like, why am I not being seen? Why am I not being supported? So you're being seen and supported and recognized today. Your soul sees and supports you. And it's encouraging you to kind of like do what you need to do to move into the next zone. Sometimes you have to do it for yourself. People don't show up. But in doing that, you create some really great opportunities. All right, let's move into the next piece here, which is the near future. The thing that's kind of either blocking or carrying you through in the same way that this catalyst is. So we have Temperance reversed, impatience. This Temperance card is really cool because it encompasses two different cards in tarot. It is the Ace of Cups, and it's also Judgment. So the big soul questions that I was asking you earlier come through very nicely here. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you ready to begin and to step into something new? And are you ready to receive? So important, because whenever we see an Ace of Cups, or in this case, sort of like this altar that she's at, there's this need to sort of receive the download, receive the energy. And the reason that you have some reversals here are basically because there's these opportunities knocking on your door. That's why the door was opening and shutting. But there's something internally that is either slowing or blocking the receiving of that. So we're going to, in the meditation today, sort of clear the clouds around you so that more can come in. Okay. All right. What a great card to come in for the soul space here, as we're looking at your soul, your ego, your mind, body, spirit here. We have the King of Cups. So that is a receiving card. And there's a little puppy there that looks a lot like Apollo. Mine's a Lhasa Apso, so that looks like a Shih Tzu. But anyway, are you ready to receive love in the highest forms, opportunities and abundance in the highest forms? When the card is receptive like this, it's telling me that if you open to that, this is a good time for love, for opportunities, for creativity. He's on a checker or chessboard, and so strategic moves are going to be important. I think, I don't know if it's just this suit, it might just be the suit, but a lot of the court cards in this particular deck, sometimes they're even sitting with chess pieces. So I want you to be strategic about key relationships in your life this month as well. And also maybe prioritize those a little bit more than you have, because it feels like love is opening up for you, love and relationships. I had a very similar energy when I was reading for, I believe, Cancer. There was a lot of cups that came through. So for whatever reason, as we step into September, at the end of August, beginning of September, it feels like a lot of you are going to be opening up more, spending more time with people, hopefully people that you love and like, and this is going to be important. We have a really cool card here in the environment as well, 10 of Cups. So yeah, this is a great time for love in particular. I don't always read love, but if it comes through, I don't ignore it. So we have 10 of Pentacles, which can be marriage. We have 10 of Wands, which can be a move. We have the World, which can be a move too. We have the King of Cups, which can be the type of person coming in, a really strong water sign or a very kind and receiving sort of energy, and that's also you. And then we have more connection, something to celebrate, connected with the winter months. So for many of you, we're looking at a really nice period between November and January with that beautiful Yuletide sort of energy that we see here. So I see some nice stuff on the horizon, new friends, new love, new connections coming through. And you are a very attractive energy here. Whenever I see this, it's like a magnet, and people want to kind of connect with you. So I see networking definitely opening up. So for some of you, if you have been in that sort of cocooning or hermiting energy, it feels like it's a really good time to put yourself out there again. Okay. With all of these, with all the 10s, thankfully you got no 10 of Swords, not yet, and I hopefully it doesn't come through. But the 10s that you got, there can be pressure with them. Like the 10 of Pentacles is expectations, social pressure. The 10 of Wands can be responsibilities, and this can be social, sort of like people taking up your time, socializing and all of that. And also someone that wants to get serious really quickly. So if you do meet someone, or if you've been in a relationship for a while, there's a lot of serious cards here with 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, and 10 of Cups. So I feel like this is a big deciding point for fresh relationships or ones where you've been in it for a while. If you're already in love, and we'll deepen this when I look at relationships in a second here, I would say there could just be a lot that you two are doing together. There's a decision. I do feel like for those of you that are in love, it's a make it or break it. Are we staying? Or are we going? Because we have 5 of Pentacles in the world. And I've seen that energy play out a few different places. I think even Cancer had a very similar one. So what I like about what I'll be doing on Sunday with the collectives is we'll see if the same pattern comes up. Because when I notice it in 1, 2, or 3 signs, a lot of times it's actually energetic. So like I said, we're going to start to do collectives probably once a week, because they've been pretty popular and a lot of you like that. So I'll test it out for a month to see if you like it. And so I'll be starting it this Sunday, and then we'll carry it through next month and see how it goes. But sometimes it helps because we can come back and see, are these patterns affecting everyone? That's what I like about a collective. All right, but for you, ultimately, we love this in the environment. It means that there's that hidden ally. There's definitely someone that is interested in either helping you or spending more time with you. It could be more than an ally, okay? There's some shyness or some uncertainty with that person. So keep getting more and more certain in who you are and what you want. that will pull that person in and let them know that you're safe, that you know what you want anyway, so they shouldn't be afraid to be around you. We got 2 cards for the next one. The Chariot reverse came through, and I did a mini read on my Instagram yesterday, so check it out if you would like to. It was something like in the moment. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. I don't post those here to YouTube, so I do little ephemeral quick readings once in a while. But the Chariot came through multiple times. It was kind of upright and reversed, upright, reversed. So this is kind of like, again, the door opening and closing. When we're looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities, some of you are in a place where you're afraid to take the reins, maybe for fear of rejection or judgment. You may also be in a place where they won't see you as the leader that you are. So the important thing for you is to find a place where you're comfortable with leadership and decision skills, and people accept and embrace what you have to offer. We have kind of like a Sagittarius energy around this too because of the Archer. So some of you may be dealing with a very stubborn boss or a headstrong Sagittarius. Here's the cool thing. Sagittarius energy, it's a mutable sort of energy. So you can go in there and find a way to work with them. And the card that we see here is also a stubborn card because we have Page of Wands reversed. So I think that one or both of you are going to have to look at the other perspective. And I talked a little bit about this, I think, in my mini read on Instagram, but it's not necessarily about, we don't want, it was because I was looking at the Devil card, because like Devil energy is like all or nothing. It's never a good sort of bargain when you get the Devil card. So with this, what we want to see is a way to kind of get most of what you want, most of what they want, or find a middle ground. And I think that's going to be really important. Just as aspects of your own personality, I see a lot of developmental skills when it comes to decision-making, confidence, and leadership. It's a diamond in the rough for sure, but you're getting there. And some of you may just feel a little rusty because maybe you've been in a place where they were pushing you down. And so this is about, again, pushing back into that feeling of, yeah, you know what? I am that leader. What are you talking about? I'm the King of Cups. I'm able to connect with passion. People like being around me. I'm loyal because we have that cute little dog there. There are good things coming through. All right. So trust in yourself, build upon yourself, and build yourself up. Because I feel like many of you are already here, and there were some people in your life that just pushed it down, suppressed it. So the cocoon that I was seeing earlier is about breaking through. So there you go. And we have a Page of Cups on the outcome card. I love whenever I see a lily blossom like this, a lotus blossom in particular, because in order for something to bloom, it has to go through the work. It has to go through the lower levels. So everything that you're challenged with at present, or have been kind of pushing through, is bringing you to that point that you can be here in the Page of Cups, which is growth, receiving, offering and receiving. And I'm glad we got a lot of cups actually, because this is saying if you can start to receive, then some really great things want to come through. And you have to also get to the point where you believe that you deserve it. I'm more than enough and I deserve this opportunity. Not in a sort of egocentric way, but just in an understanding of self-worth. You've done the necessary work, so let's allow it to come in. I feel really good about potential love this month with the King of Cups, the 10 of Cups, and the Page of Cups all upright. That's really good. So wherever you're at in your relationship, if you're walking away or stepping into something better is on the horizon for you. It's only going to get better from here, okay? So we'll go into that more in a second, but rarely do I see so many cards that are encouraging and so many that about relationships. It's a good month for you in relationships. All right, let me take a drink, and then we're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and we'll get some more clarity here. Beginning with the health card, which for me is mind, body, and spirit. And this is exactly what this is. So we have childhood and innocence. We have the little kids here. We have a few children that are prominently figured here, one in the Judgment. So some of you as children, there's that little tiny kid in the background. Judgment reverse can be someone who didn't understand who you are, what you wanted to do, and tried to vicariously sort of project their own future or energy or wants or desires upon you. And now you're going back to that little kid and saying, no. Notice now how we also have that higher light coming through. This is a second chance for you. See, very different cards, very similar imagery. So we have the spotlight coming through probably the stained glass, and then we have just the sun, the rays of light coming through here with the childhood card. This is also like a 6 of Cups energy when I look at it, right? We have two children, they're celebrating, they're having fun, they're innocent, they're back to that pre-judgment state. So I want you to just go into the energy of a child, because we're not born with shame. We're not born with bias. That is taught. When you look at kids playing, they don't care. Boys can play with dolls. Kids don't see color. They don't see money. They don't see any of that stuff. They just have fun. We teach them all of the filters. So you get to break the filters away that your parents and society pushed on you, and you get back into that clarity. So I want you to just pretend like none of it matters, because it doesn't, and just be your authentic self. That's really what this is about. Something in the childhood time for you, put a filter on that doesn't belong. It's kind of like when you go to the optometrist, if any of you have done that, I'm sure everyone has at some point, and they go like this or this. Sometimes you're like, neither, they both look bad. So take the filters out until you can see clearly. Imagine that we're like at the optometrist, and you're trying to kind of remove or add filters until it's in focus for you, because otherwise it's the other person putting a lens in front of you and everything seems like it's not quite right. So you're going to go and clear it up a little bit. Take some of those unnecessary filters out and just use your own eyes if you need to. All right. So that's the main thing. Trust yourself and see it clearly from your perspective. And there is sort of a unconditional love that comes through with the Six of Cups. So even though this isn't Six of Cups, this is Six of Cups, because we have a brother, sister, sibling kind of energy, or best friend energy. And this one is being guided by connecting to your soul, which is what everything was about that we were doing earlier. So let's specifically look at some health messages for you, in addition to this sort of removal of filters, trusting yourself, having fun, etc. Always with the Five of Pentacles, we want to watch just overall balance. It doesn't have to do with necessarily just inner ear or vertigo. It could just be life balance. Usually I see that with the Two of Pentacles, but sometimes with Five of Pentacles, we do things that make others happy, but not us. So in this kind of instance, I really want you to make sure that you're feeling satisfied and you're feeling supported. Five of Pentacles also has to do with your legs. And this card has been coming up a lot lately. So make sure that if, for those of you that might have gone through some physical therapy, or maybe like knee surgery, or, maybe, what is that, ACL or something like that? If something like that has happened, it takes a long time to heal. And I was actually shown an image in my head yesterday of someone's, felt like someone out there had an ankle that, or a bone that broke. It was a clear break. It wasn't a sprain. So whenever it's something like that, take time and don't go into exercise too quickly. Slowly get back into that. So take care of yourself, because I feel like there's a potential for a repeat injury from someone that had a surgery or a bone fracture or break. You want to take your time. It was a really clear message that kind of disturbed me the other morning, because I saw it break again. So take your time. Go through the physical therapy, all of it, and ease into it. Give yourself a full year. As someone who's had broken bones before, 1 full year sometimes for bones and cartilage to heal. You'll still feel a weird sensation there. And then sometimes when it's rainy or whatever, you feel the pain, there's always going to be a sensitivity there. So love it. Don't judge it. And just adjust your body to fit this new version of you. Okay. Let's see what else comes through. I want you to just exercise moderation. There could be some pressure here when we see the Ten of Pentacles, or sorry, Ten of Cups in the environment. So not going to extremes when it comes to anything is going to be key. Overall, you have pretty good cards, actually. I think one of the most important things for you is to not judge yourself too harshly, and to just step into a decision that I'm ready to do better. Once you make that decision, everything opens up for you. Okay, so pretty good energy when we're looking at health. Let's take a look at wealth for you. The wealth card here is about passion and pleasure. So this is exactly what we were talking about earlier. The passion piece. Are you passionate about what you do? Does it open your heart? Does it open your mind? Do you look forward to going to work, or do you think, oh my gosh, I need another 10 minutes because I don't want to wake up? The pleasure piece can also bring, this could be about what you do bringing others pleasure. So if you're like an artist, there's a nice fulfilling piece to this, because you create work that inspires and makes other people happy. Or if you work in food, for instance, like you're a chef, or you're even serving the food or whatever, you know that part of what you do is great because people get to just sort of like enjoy and take that in. So is there something that you're doing that brings joy, pleasure, or fulfillment to others? And are you also feeling that? That's all that matters this month. If that doesn't exist, it's time to recalibrate. It's time to look beyond, because no station, no amount of money, no whatever is going to be able to overcome a lack of those things, basically. I feel really good about your potential this month because 10 of Pentacles in the past tells me you've done the requisite work and that people value you. 10 of Wands tells me that it's time to move on. And the King of Cups tells me that there's something really good about how you connect with others. Now, there's an echo from the past with the 10 or the 5 of Pentacles that it's a question for some of you. Do you really want to go back there? So you've done all of this work and all these great 10 cards, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and 10 of Wands. But we have that little thing from the past. So there might be an old relationship that pops up. You might run into someone that you used to date. Or there may be all these good aspects and there's still someone in your life that's driving you crazy. It might be a family member too. What we need to do is separate ourselves from that one perspective and probably not go back and revisit that too much. It could also be going back to an old place of employment or something, and you just need to make sure that it's changed enough for you this time around, that you are respected this time around, because the 5 of Pentacles is being left out. So make sure you negotiate better. And that was definitely one of the messages that came through at the end of the channel messages. So this time around, you have to speak up. I think it's going to be really important. And yeah, these are the main things. But if you do love what you're doing with the King of Cups, the 10 of Cups, and the Page of Cups, other people are really going to connect with it. It's so much fun to see someone who really is in their zone and doing what they want to do. So whether it's a chef or whether it's a teacher or whether it's, you know, just an average everyday person going about their business and they just have this sense of joy, you want to be around that person because it's attractive. So pull some of that joy in your life. It's going to help you get to the next level. You do have the 10 of Pentacles here, which I like, but there's something weird with the 5 of Pentacles. So it could be fear. It could be someone in your environment. It could be an old environment that you don't need to go back to. Let's walk away from that because everything else is moving you into a better place. And again, I think the main thing for many of you is to push through this fear of, can I handle this? Will I be able to do this? Yes, you can. Yes, you will. Someone has taken away the confidence, and this month it's about rebuilding the confidence. All right, let's go into relationships. And being supportive is important. It says make a genuine effort to show that you care. And I like that. I would also say don't be afraid to ask for the support that you need or that you want in your life right now too. So support. Am I supported? Am I supporting? And you've got, like I said, so many cards here, especially with the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. Pentacles was reversed. So it does feel like to me, there is a lot of people taking. Make sure that they're also giving as well. Make sure that you're also ready to receive, because sometimes when people try to give back, it might be hard for you to accept a compliment or accept support. And being supportive is also being supported. So I can read it both ways. All right, let's look at it for those of you that are in a relationship, looking for a relationship, or not really kind of focusing so much on love. Single and happy, I would say. So let's take a look at all of these. All right, so if you're in a relationship, again, the biggest thing, I'm going to pull the camera down for this because there's a lot to kind of decompress here. If you're in a relationship, a decision must be made. We have Judgment here and the World. So you're either going to go or you're going to stay. If I had to look at the main thing for some of you in relationships, it could be either helping a family member that's sick. This could be an older parent. It could be also you dealing with something from the past. It could also be a division of assets. You're deciding to move on. But there's some big decisions in life, and you have to support one another. This is one of those testing periods where maybe one partner is also in a really good place and one is not. So balancing and supporting, finding a way to get to that next level and trusting that you have each other's back. If you can do that, if you can be patient with each other, we have King of Cups, 10 of Cups, and Page of Cups. It's all pretty good, actually. There's just a question to you, basically, do you want to keep pushing? Are you ready for that? Or is there something that's holding you back there? I think the decision and the support is important, and not to judge the other person and not to let them judge you. As long as that's in a good place, I feel like you can move through all of these other challenges. If you're in a relationship, just got it, I should say, like looking for love, or you've been dating for a little bit, so a fresher sort of relationship, it could get serious pretty quickly because you or the other person may already be looking to start a family or get married. Feels like there's a lot of connection here. And there's a really deep initial sort of, yeah, chemistry that comes through with the King of Cups. So give it some time to develop. But I do feel like for some of you, that person may come through and say, I'm a little impatient. I'm ready to start a family. I really like you. What do you want? And this could be for some of you a little off-putting. So take your time if you can. I would say if you're that person feeling all of this, just slow it down, because it does feel like it's headed in the right direction. I didn't get anything like Eight of Cups, which shows me that it's going to stagnate. I would say just put more of a priority in the relationship area. If you're starting to date, I see some good movement in that place. I think the one thing that you want to be focusing on, doesn't matter what kind of relationship status you're in, is self-confidence, your personal health, your relationship with your parents. All of those things are going to either help or hinder a relationship. If you're single and happy, or really not focusing on love, right now, no matter what, there's a lot of people that want to kind of connect with you. You can't get away from King of Cups, 10 of Cups, and Page of Cups. Lots of options on the table. If you're a business person, some good options as well. So I feel like this is a great time to network, to make some new friends, and to come out of your shell, because to not utilize this would be a missed opportunity. And it feels like many of you that are single and happy, or not focused on relationships, you are really more focused on, where do I want to be? What do I want to do? Big life questions, which is probably why I was asking all of those earlier. So there's this big movement with the World card, and you need to get settled first. But nonetheless, you will still have some people that want to kind of connect with you and spend more time with you. It's a really good time for love. The only sort of energy where it's more challenging is if you're already married. I think if you're already married, there's some concerns around health, money, or family that have to come in and sort of take center stage. But that's part of marriage, right? You're going to support each other, and you're going to take on some of the energy of the other person's family. So it could be a child in your own family that's needing a little bit more help. So your son or daughter. So focusing on getting that sorted first will be helpful. There'll be plenty of time to spend with one another after that. So you got to get through the work first. I do think you can make it though. So I like what I'm seeing. Finally, and definitely most vocally here, we have the Crow spirit. It was reversed. This morning when I was walking my dog, I was actually talking to a family member, and I was telling the Crow, what are you trying to say? So I didn't take enough time to tune in. So it came in through because I was talking on the phone. So it came in through the Totem instead. And the message is really cool. It says, co-create with spirit. So listen to what's being told. Don't dismiss the Crow like I did. Listen to what it was trying to say. There was probably something very important. So I'll do a little meditation later and connect and see what messages want to come through. It's just spirit saying, hey, I have some stuff I need to tell you. Okay. There you go. All right, let's do a mini review. And then I want to quickly look at, before I get into the review, I'm going to write down some questions for our soul path. So if you're new here, what I do after this is I'm going to ask 2 questions, and I'm going to let the universe give us a third. And then after a meditation, I'll let you ask me a question. But first things first, let's see. I just want to do a quick audit here. I'm pretty happy overall with your financial cards, because you do have a 10 of Pentacles. I want to look at the 5 of Pentacles a little bit more. So let's see what it is that's, what's this element from the past that's holding back maybe the belief in yourself. So self-confidence, belief, and I'm going to just say past influence. What is this that's coming from the past? How can we transmute the 5 of Pentacles? All right. And then let's see, you have the 10 of Cups, you have Wands. You don't have any swords. So we definitely want to look at communication. Why are there no swords? Why are you maybe holding back a little bit in communication? So I'm just going to put communication. And I think those are 2 good starts. And then we're going to take a look at a third one, whatever the universe wants to show me. And then hold your question until the very end. You can meditate on it, and I'll pull a card for it. All right, so let's walk into the mini review. Thank you so much for that contribution. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we have the spirit totem here, the moth. The moth is a beautiful transformative energy. Also a nocturnal one. I really didn't get into the nocturnal portion because I was focusing more on the sort of hibernation piece. But some of you may have a hard time getting to sleep right now because there's so much going through your head. Make sure that you take some time to just write stuff down, find a way to kind of decompress. I think that's going to be super important. This particular moth that I was looking into, the Satin Moth, lays its eggs in this period of time, July and August. So for those of you watching live in August, And then the larvae create cocoons and hibernate through the winter period, which is coming up here. So we're looking at probably like November, December, January being that somewhat dormant period, and even a little bit beyond that. But for us, I look at quarters of years instead. So I think this next quarter is very active. Then we have a somewhat less active quarter. So I want you to use this period of time to the highest possible potential. It's fertile, it's abundant, and it's a great time to set plans into motion. Excuse me. There will be ample time to rest later, like I said. And so just try to pace yourself right now if you can. One of the things that's super important that's going to help you through the deciding energy of judgment here is what's important. So when I look just sort of at the teachings that I've learned in my own life experience and my own past life flashbacks, what I remember is all of the connections that I made. So our life is not measured in wealth and status or popularity. Anything material that we gain, it all goes away when we leave this planet. Instead, what we take with us are our experiences, the love that we are given, and also that we give. So given and received, the lessons that we learn, and the impact that we make on other people's lives. This stuff is karma. This is the stuff that comes with us in each and every life and leaves with us as well. When weighing your opportunities, measure them against the big questions. And here are some of the big questions. Does this make me happy? Does this allow me to grow? Does this inspire me or others around me? At the end of my days, is the time that I spent worth? Does it justify the means? Does it justify the experience? Or do I regret spending that time? You know, missing a graduation because I was working, or missing a special family event because I was working, etc. Does it align with my soul passion? And do I like the people that I'm surrounded by? If not, it's time to course correct. An awakening is at hand. There's a choice between two paths, one that could diverge, one that could be, maybe you're on the right path and it's just a decision and an affirmation that you want to continue there. I said judgment in the world. We got judgment in the world. It's like the moth awakening from that hibernation. For some of you, it could be a little bit more subtle too, like the hermit or the star. You have to decide what you want to do, continue on the path or break the mold. Movement and change are the only two constants in life. It's basically a reminder here that to move is to live. When we stagnate, then we're not really moving. So awaken yourself, awaken that sleeper within, create a soul legacy for yourself. It's kind of like your own curriculum, right? Cocoons also represent the need to protect something. So for some of you, there's something that's not quite ready to be shared with the world. So take your time to get that ready. In initial stages of anything that's developing, it's between you and the divine. Protect ideas and intellectual property. Don't share something that's half-baked. And that's basically what I've been talking about. I was shown that door that kept slamming open and shut. There's a decision that needs to be made. Don't force yourself. Don't force others to make a decision. It should happen naturally. And if that door needs to close because you're not ready, that's fine. Another one will open. Change of environment could do you a lot of good. It could absolutely help with productivity, especially for those of you that are studying or working. Get outside, connect with nature. Do something like walking, gardening, or meditating. I don't think I covered this one earlier, so it's good that I'm covering it now. This is going to help. I did talk about the power of sort of like just getting outside and being with something like a tree, touching a tree and connecting with that. That's super important. Move into new negotiations in your life with a sense of confidence, the reverse of what we see with that Five of Pentacles. And then also rely on yourself and trust in your own skills. That inner confidence and trust actually attracts more abundance in your life. So definitely believe in yourself. Okay, let's look at the other cards here. There is a friend or ally in disguise. You just have to be open and willing to receive and perceive that. As we look at the cards here, we see both judgment in the world, like I talked about. You have to believe in something to open it up. What's going on right now for some of you is pressure. 10 of Pentacles and 10 of Wands can be pressure. 10 of Wands can be a lot of pressure that you're feeling like just that you're doing so much. So this is also looking at your path right now and thinking like, am I done with this? Do I still want to do this, etc. 10 of Pentacles is not falling into trying to live your parents' life or your teacher's life. This is your own life. Alone, these cards are fantastic. This is like graduating, moving on. This can be travel. This can also be a really great, just like you accumulating a lot of opportunity and you earned it. And that's basically what that card is saying. Good for you. You deserve everything that you got. Five of Pentacles is a necessary shift, a division that might have to happen. The World card is understanding that this is not the end. There's much more. Judgment and the world go hand in hand. Rising up, reclaiming oneself, and going further because of that. Temperance is reminding you to be in that receptive energy. It's also showing you sort of that you are that alchemist. You are the one that's kind of going to the altar of creation and deciding to do something new. The card reverse is about the impatience that we have in sometimes seeing things manifest, but this is really about trusting that manifestation. A strategic King of Cups coming through saying, let's prioritize happiness, love, relationships, family, satisfaction. He comes through in a big way saying it's time to be happy. And the little puppy on his lap is also about trust and loyalty, making time to love and be loved. Because people want to be around you. Because as we look at November, December, and January, it feels like there's a lot more energy around relationships that are coming into your life. But you're not, what we see actually here is like twin stars. This is almost like Polaris or something. So find your true self and you attract that other star in your life. Okay. Looking at hopes and fears. For some of you, you've been pushed down and you sometimes doubt yourself. And what I see here is the ability to manage, to organize, to take control, and to just open yourself to that particular path. If we look really closely at this card, it's almost as if he's either kind of like bringing in the lightning, the power from and the energy from that cloud, or he might be creating the storms in his life. So sometimes we create our own problems, but this is also about connecting to the divine. If you're ready to receive, some good things will happen. And we have a very receptive page of cups here in the outcome. Again, the lotus blossom reminding us that we have to go through some of the uncomfortable aspects of our life in order to get to that resplendent piece, going through the murky levels to get to the light. This is your turn to reclaim something from the past that you forgot. You're going to get back into that sense of being, having good self-worth, trusting yourself, and really living your best life. You might be attracting someone really great. We got a lot of, as I kind of review these cards, I can see, twin stars or nice energy coming through. This is Six of Cups can be a great connection from the past that's coming back to celebrate an old friend, an old love, and that's good as well. Looking at health issues this month, just moderation is really key, and mostly focusing on healing. And making sure that if it's an emotional wound, remembering that it takes time. If it's a physical wound, not pushing yourself too much because we don't want to break anything. But we do see movement, we do see healing, we do see recovery and happiness overall. So I like what I see. Taking control is the main thing here, taking control and accountability. In wealth is just about finding happiness, pleasure, making sure that you're bringing passion and pleasure to others as well in what you're doing. And if you're not, it's time to move on. Looking also at wealth, making sure that you don't underestimate yourself or let others underestimate you. We're going to look a lot deeper at that in just a second. And if you're not feeling it, then it's time to think about something else, step into something else. In relationships this month, I actually see overwhelmingly good energy here because we have a lot of tens, including the 10 of Cups, and we have a King and a Page of Cups here showing really great movement. So if you're looking for love, I like what I see. There's a little bit of self-confidence that needs to be dealt with. If you're in love, in a long-term relationship, you could be dealing with a challenge in your family unit, your family, like the other partner or your child could be someone in their life, like their mother. A lot of times this is mother and children. And so you need to kind of like support that person as they're moving through it. Some of you, though, you've had enough because judgment in the world just is that, and this is the division of things. But then I see a lot of happiness and a lot of joy here with the King of Cups, the 10 of Cups, and the Page of Cups. So there's a lot of love and support coming through. Are you open to receive it? I hope you are. And finally, there's a partnership opportunity here, co-create with Spirit. You in Spirit, but also Spirit might be sending you someone that you can work with or someone that you can create with. It's kind of great energy here, so I like that. All right, let's go now deeper into the soul path. The two questions that I wanted to ask were the confidence thing with the 5 of Pentacles and then communication, since we didn't really get any swords. Focusing first on 5 of Pentacles. What's it about? Why is it coming through? And why does it seem to be like the one limiting card that you got? Six of Wands. Okay. Success. All right, so here's the good thing. I actually feel like success is upon you, and you need to trust in that success. With the Six of Wands, sometimes there is this feeling that we have to live up to everybody else's goals, dreams, or versions of who we need to be. And the truth of the matter is, as long as you're doing your own sort of journey, your own path, you're going to be okay. So don't worry so much about external validation. Focus on the internal validation. The scene on this reminds me of Midsummer, right? Or kind of like when it's a festival in like Scandinavia, I think. What I really like about it, though, is we're celebrating the light. So looking as each one of those individuals is lighting the candle and celebrating the light, I want you to celebrate the good stuff. Very rarely do I see that in the Six of Wands, but the Six of Wands is reminding us that we are the source of our own power and inspiration. We need to celebrate it, just as like I light all these candles around me. It's hard to point behind you. I'm always setting some intentions before I begin. So you should do the same thing. Light a candle tonight, a votive candle, and say a prayer, set an intention. We're still on the heels of the Lionsgate portal. I think it's kind of closing up today, but there's still a chance to set into motion some of these things. It's a very fertile period, so let's do that and celebrate your own journey, your own success. And once you feel better about yourself, things start to look differently. Like the optometrist, we're putting on a better set of lenses. We can see more clearly. And I think that's the important thing. Can you see yourself the way the universe does? Because the universe likes you. Look at this, that light shining down on you. It loved you when you were a child, and it loves you still. But it really wants you to find maybe a piece of yourself that you've lost. And so stop worrying about others. That light that you're looking for, that spotlight, you have it within. So light your own kind of flame or candle and then help someone else see it too. Right? I like it. I see success. By the way, Six of Wands just shows success. And you have a lot of visibility coming through this month. So it is time to break through from the cocoon. You've got to get out. It feels like there's a chance to break out. So I like it. All right, communication. We got no swords. So why are there no swords? What is the message about communication? Sometimes an absence of something is a message. Maybe it's not. Let's just take a look and see. The crow is really vocal, though. So for some of you, you're not listening to a message. That's one thing. I heard it this morning. For about 2 minutes, it was just cawing as my dog was sniffing around and everything. So listen, that's one thing I definitely get. All right, but besides that, cards, what else do we need to see? My goodness, you've got some great cards this month, I have to say. We've got the Lovers. How fantastic is that? All right, so I feel like for some of you with the Lovers card, I don't know if you're afraid of receiving or if you're worried about what people think, but there's an affirmation with the Lovers card that if you speak from the heart, people will connect with that because it's authentic, because it's passionate. And this is really, there's a lot of water that came through. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of love. Some of you must have some placements in water signs, but you're definitely connecting with passion this month. These are two great cards. This is people admiring you. This is a person admiring you. This is people wanting to be around you. This is love. This is receiving love. And I see a lot of water. So Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or just someone that's really passionate. Definitely a lot of water and love and passion this month. So don't be afraid to say something as long as it's coming from the heart, as long as it's in the language of love. There's only one language in the universe, and that's love. We speak with a lot of different sort of verbal languages, but if you've ever connected with like an angel or a guide or an alien, whatever, there's a lot of different, it's basically telepathy. They don't use language the way that that we're used to. One of my experiences with an angelic entity was not clairaudient, but it showed me, it was like a download I would see a picture and I would say it in my head and the angel would nod because I heard it. I knew it. They would point to something and I would hear it, know it, see it, understand it. So when we speak with the heart, we're speaking in that same universal language, which is, it feels good. You know it, it's true. So be truthful, speak from the heart, should be good. You should be doing things that have this. You should be loving what you're doing and speaking and executing in a way that you kind of are doing that. Because swords are not just communication, they're also action. Love who you are, love what you do, speak in the language of love. And if anyone around you isn't doing some of that, it's time to course correct or to kind of push back on that. All right. Let's take a look now at the wild card and see what's coming through for that. All right, just 1 second here. Okay, so the wild card is going to be something where we can focus on something that the universe wants to show us. All right, so universe, what do we need to focus on? Okay, so we have the Emperor card in reverse, which is taking back control. So for many of us right now, we may have been in a place where we were used to other people being the ones that were making the decisions, telling us if we're right or wrong. This can be even a codependency, relying on someone else to sort of like fill in all the missing pieces. And this is telling you right here, right now, it's your turn, it's your time to sort of step up and to lead. And this is very like Julius Caesar-esque. But for you, we don't want to kind of use the Caesar energy. What we want to be focusing on is leading with a sense of love, with leading with a receptive energy. So much of what's coming through this month is receptive, with the Page of Cups, with the King of Cups, with the 10 of Cups. So I feel like as long as you receive and also give and then speak from the heart, you're going to be fine. But you should be taking the reins. Entrepreneurial energy definitely coming through. If you can't get the support or can't speak your mind, then whatever you're kind of looking at, it's not the right connection for you. Okay. So quick mini review of this, and we're going to do a quick meditation, and then I will answer a final question for those of you that have something else you want to look at. All right. And I noticed that someone just kept spamming a question, which is why I removed that. So hold your question and ask me silently. I will have a chance to do that afterwards. All right. Six of Wands, a reminder that you're on a path to success. Does the success fulfill you? Are you feeling passionate about that? Because passion is your middle name this month. Maybe it's your first, middle, and last because of all the cards of love and creativity and passion that came through. As long as you're feeling good about it, people are feeling good about being around you. A reminder here that you also are able to kindle not just your own fire, but others. So make sure that that's what's going on. There should be joy, passion, and creation. Taking back the reins of control. Both of your management cards this month were reversed. So we have a Chariot in reverse, which would be sort of like middle management or day-to-day stuff. And then we have the big management card, the big boss, the king, the emperor, coming through and saying, you have everything that you need to do stuff. You don't need to, like, this is for some of you, you might be in a position in your life if you were partnered with someone, or if you maybe lost a parent or something, and you ask yourself, can I do this? Am I going to be okay? You definitely are. You are the emperor, kind of like just, it's almost like Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. You've been out in the woods too long, and it's time to kind of step up and kind of like take control and take the reins. Okay. So some of us, it's easier to be in the shadows, but it feels like some help is stepping out of the shadows, and also you are. You're your own best ally too. So this is a revelation period for you. Okay. We're going to do a quick meditation, and then we're going to, I'll answer your final question. Before I do the meditation, first of all, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody that's here today. And if you haven't yet liked and subscribed, I only ask maybe once or twice. It really makes a big difference. So hit the thumbs up once. I'm sorry, I pulled up the wrong card. Hit the thumbs up one time. That will help me just basically bubble up a little bit in recommendations. So if you could hit this once, and then if you've never subscribed, subscribe. I have about 50, 60, or 70%, depending on the video, that have never subscribed. It doesn't cost anything. It helps a lot. Unfortunately, we have to repeat that as creators sometimes. So thank you for being patient. You can also follow me on social media in case you missed any of the messages that I wrote down. Like I said, I post all of these later. So if you go to the link that I put up earlier, you'll see that Nicholas Ashbaugh is my handle for most social media, and then Ashbaugh for Twitter. And that's it. We'll get into our meditation now. All right, so for the meditation, what I want to focus on today is clearing the clouds around you, because I really was kind of inspired by this Page of Wands. I think sometimes we spend some time creating or causing like the stormy energy around us. And so let's take some time today to clear the sky, so that we can step into that light, like a cloud break here. I want you to kind of step into the light and get the clarity that you need. For any of you that have spent time in parts of maybe Canada or the Pacific Northwest, I'm sure you've seen that there's a lot of, even San Francisco, there's big cloud banks that will and fog banks that will roll in. And at particular times of the day, the sun breaks through in this almost breathtaking manner. You've probably seen pictures painted like that as well. That's what we're going to do in our meditation. So close your eyes. Imagine that you are sitting on the shore, the beach, or the pier near a body of water. It can be the ocean, or it can be just a lake or some sort of pond. I don't care, however big you want it to be. But let's imagine a little bit bigger, because you would need that for the fog to kind of be there, or the clouds. So at present, you can't really tell what time of day it is, because all you see is sort of the overtones of blue and gray, maybe some fluffy, pillowy clouds above you, but you can't quite see through the fog or the clouds. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that this is just a gigantic cocoon around you that is allowing for you in this moment to go within and discover your truth. We talked earlier about the big questions. So I want you to just think of maybe a couple of the answers that might be coming through. What do I really want to do? What makes me happy? What inspires me? Think about that for a moment and allow the clouds to sort of move around your body, and realize now that they weren't blocking it. They were coming in to protect and to give you a chance to go within. Now, I want you to pick a path, allow for something to come through. You can just say, I'm ready to see, if you don't know what it is that you want to see. But if you know what it is, I'm ready to see the path toward this. So make that declaration, I'm ready now to see, and imagine that each one of your chakras is opening up, spinning around, and it's going to beam a light out, almost like the bat signal, towards the sun. You're going to try to find it. You're going to try to connect with it. And as you do, your heart connects with that higher energy. And together, these two beams of light connect and create almost like this extra star that blasts out all of the clouds. And all that's left is the beautiful blue sky above you, and this direct connection to spirit coming into the heart center. As we listen to this singing bowl here, I want you to just let that energy surround you. So instead of a foggy, murky, sort of cloudy energy, now you have bright light leading you to paths of opportunity, new partnerships, great things around you. And then think about if there's any question that you have for me, and I'll help you with that after we meditate. But for now, just allow the light to shine and allow your own rays of light to reach out towards whatever it is you're trying to manifest. Take a nice deep breath, pulling in the light, pulling in that sense of hope, confidence, breaking through any of the boundaries or the barriers that you once felt. On the exhale, make a decision now, out with the old, in with the new, seeing now a light that you have shown on to the future there, something that you're shining towards, a goal, a dream, or something that you want to create. And imagine that there's this bridge now of light that you could walk across, that you can start to take steps towards that future self, towards that tomorrow. All right. Think about any questions that have, as of yet, not been answered. Keep that question in your heart and in your mind. You don't need to type it out. And let me tune into it and see what's coming through. Okay. So we have a the crow is back, or the raven is back. So I really should have put it in the totem today. It's giving me a hard time. All right, so we have the Eight of Swords. It was reversed though, and that's really about seeing something. But this is less about seeing and more about listening to something. So I feel like many of you have been told, either by higher self, guide, or perhaps someone in your life, this is what you need to be focusing on. This is about opening up your ears, and I would never read the Eight of Swords that way if there wasn't a crow in it, and we didn't get a crow twice. And it's a very vocal sort of spirit, and it's basically saying, hey, listen to me. And the message here is, if not now, then when are you going to start to work with your path? It's time to step into that path, into the light. And and to follow the higher calling. That's really what this card is. If you're looking at a yes, no, this isn't not yet. What you need to do right now is to get some clarity, because 8 of Swords, just like 2 of Swords, there's usually blindfolds, there's usually some uncertainty. So I want you to drill into the situation a little bit more like a journalist, be more inquisitive, ask the questions that you need, get a little bit more information before signing on the dotted line. The good news with 8 and actually even 9 of Swords is it's usually not as bad as it seems. I kind of like this one too because it looks like a bird cage. I never noticed that until I'm looking at it. The 8 of Swords can be a limit or a prison that we build for ourselves, right? And it is an illusion because the card was reversed, or it's a lessening of that. So what we want to do is step out of limiting thoughts, energies, and frequencies. Don't get back into one either, because once you've gotten out of that cage, you don't want to go back into the cage. So I really do feel like that for some of you is what the 5 of Pentacles is about, is not going back into an old energy that doesn't feel right. And if you do, then to get some protections and make sure, or some validations that enough has changed for you to feel comfortable with that. But overall, everything's really good. This was one of the few cards that came through. It's still a card about freedom and liberation. When I see it upside down, I see the bird flying to freedom. So I like that. But you need to listen. Listen to yourself, listen to others. Because only through stubbornness and not listening will problems come through for you. So success, happiness, inner flame, inspiring others, love, new relationships, possibly. Also, by the way, if you're looking to meet someone, we've got so many social cards with like the 10 of Cups and also like the 6 of Wands. It's time to get out there, folks. Leadership, ready or not, it's time to sort of step into that position of leadership. And then it's time to be seen. It's time to listen. It's time to move beyond the limits of the past. All right. So as a little mini read there, I feel pretty good about your overall energy, especially with the lovers. Great reading for you. Really positive shifts coming through you and toward you. The main thing is, are you ready for it? And do you believe you deserve it? And you're ready to kind of step into that with judgment and the world, which I picked up on just meditating earlier. So I think that's the main thing. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in the changes. Okay. So a couple of quick notes here, and then we'll get wrapped up for today. Again, if you would like to follow me on social media, Maria put a link to my Instagram. You can look at that little mini read that I did. I try to do that a couple times a month. So check that out. And I will post the summaries for this by tomorrow. Usually takes me a day because I'm going to be doing another reading tomorrow too. So it takes a little bit of time. Like I said earlier, if you also want to show some support, you can do that through a couple of ways. For free, just one thumbs up. I see we have about half of the people that are here that have liked it. So if you haven't yet hit the thumbs up before you sign off today, please do that. That'll help me a lot. And if you've never subscribed, remember, it's absolutely free. You're not going to get spammed or anything. The only way that you will get spammed is if you opt into the bell. And that's a way to get a notification on your device or an email reminder. And if you'd like to show support when this goes on replay, the thanks button is the way to do it. Right now, before we wrap up, you can still do it by doing Super Chat. Thank you to all my members and Patreon supporters. I will be putting up a link for all of those supporters to vote on the topics for the collectives. So usually every Saturday, I will post a poll for you, for those of you that support me in that way, to help me shape what I'm going to talk about the next day. So more to come on that. And as always, if you want to kind of take an adventure and you like fantasy and science fiction, you can look at my book called The Luminous Ones. It's available on my website. People that enjoy Lord of the Rings or Dunes would probably enjoy this. But if you're not a big fan of like longer sci-fi, just show up here. We do a lot of soul work and a lot of reaching out there into the universe. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Maria, for your help with moderation. I will be back again for Libra tomorrow, and I'll be doing a collective on the weekend. I'll post a link to that collective later today. All right, everyone. Much love and light. Have a great end of the week and a great month ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.